So people get a little upset or whatever. Summer, it was like a summer day, so it's hot, no parking. That's enough of a reason, like, for someone to have a chip on their shoulder, you know? So Gloria and I get to that parking spot first. As we're turning in, one of the guys behind us tries to, like, go around us and, like, cut in. And I'm like, well, that's impossible. Like, we're already halfway in. And then the guy starts honking and, like, just arguing and cursing at me and stuff. Yeah. And then Gloria's like, oh, man, this guy's crazy. And I'm like, just ignore him. You know, we put our windows up. We had the AC on, so we put the windows up. And as she's pulling in, I get off the car because we have to get off. We have to go to the bank. And he stayed there. I told Gloria to stay in the car. And so I get out of the car, and now I'm facing him, and his window's down, and he's just cursing at me. And I go, dude, what's your issue? Like, it was our turn. We parked, you know, and he gets out of his car. And I told Gloria, lock the doors. I was like, it's on. This guy's walking towards me.
Yeah.
And
I'm excited. Finish the story. Did you do anything?
And I'll be honest with you.
Or did you run and leave Gloria right there?
Yeah, Gloria handled it. I'll be honest with you. I was training. I felt good. I felt like, all right, like, if I have to do something, I'm going to be okay, you know? The guy gets out. His car is running. And, you know, he's maybe about 15 steps away from me. And I don't know, like, something just, like, I got, like, an idea, right? Because, like, we're literally right outside the bank. Like, maybe 25 steps away from the entrance to the bank. And it's one of the big banks, so there's cameras everywhere and all that.
Fire. And
then I just go, yeah, fire, and I ran. And I literally, as the guy's walking towards me, I go, hey, man, you chose the best place to do this. I'm going to let you hit me. And there's a bunch of cameras here. Can't wait to sue you, man. And the guy stopped, and he goes, he said some stuff, you know, calling me a wuss and all this other stuff, right? I'm like, hey, just let you know, I'm going to let you beat me up, man. There's a bunch of cameras here. Can't wait to catch that in. And he got back in his car and just...
Oh, yeah, man. That
hey, listen,
took the steam right out of him, probably.
Listen, if we would have mixed it up, whatever, we would have mixed it up, right? But what if I would have hurt him? What if I would have fell, bumped my head on the ground and not woken up? What if I would have hit him and he would have fell and not woken up? There's so many what ifs. What if he had a knife? What if he had a gun in his car? What if... Yeah, I mean, there's so many what ifs. That was easier. I didn't have to fight.
Oh, man, dude.
Gloria got out of the car and she goes, what did you tell him? I told him. You don't know my wife. I told her, I was like, I told him that if, you know, he didn't get back in his car, I was going to thrash him. And she goes, yeah, right. What did you tell him? I was like, well, I just told him, like, look, there's a lot of cameras. I can't wait to cash in. I'm going to sue you. He got back in his car.
Nice.
And well.
I wish I could do that.
Whatever. You know, I used my brain. I didn't have to use my fist.
I told you, I have a switch, dude. So when somebody, like...
I've actually gotten a phone call from you.
Where I was almost, like, in, like...
I was like, what are you doing?
Because I stood down and I was almost in tears.
Yeah,
man.
You were. Yeah.
I literally was so mad at myself, dude. My pride felt like...
Yeah, you know what? When it comes to street fighting or self-defense, that ego, you could say, look, I'm going to keep my life and keep my peace. You can keep the ego.
And I think as I got older, I wouldn't have done that when I was younger. I probably would have mixed it up. But there's a couple things that I realized. I was in a bad situation, how I was in my car and the guy was outside. Situational awareness, you know. There's no way I could have got out without him approaching me first, so that's already in a bad position, you know. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people were watching, and I felt like I was an adult, you know, like, just get away from me, you know. And
it's not worth it. I mean, ultimately, it's all ego.
But then I spent 45 minutes on the phone with Abel and Brett going, I didn't kick this guy's butt.
Hey, listen, it's better to spend the 45 minutes with us on the phone than hours at jail, you know. Yeah. So it's okay. Honestly, it's all ego driven. If you didn't have to use your fists or your feet or your knees or your elbows, perfect.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't think that's in me anymore. I mean, I used to. Yeah, it probably still is.
Of course it is.
But I think with training a little bit is kind of like...
I mean, we all know the story of the two wolves inside us, right?
Yeah, of course.
And the one that prospers is the one that you feed. So, it's in you, and it's okay. Like I said, we're human. It's in me. Of course it is. I'm always walking around with a chip on my shoulder. Doesn't mean I'm going to go do something stupid. It's just, it's in us. We just got to learn how to keep our feet on the ground and, be smart about what we do.
What's your favorite technique to teach?
To teach?
Just period. Teach. For you, I mean, I know you're kind of the pretty boy, so it's probably like a hammer fist or...
I like to teach everything, to be quite honest. I like to teach the stuff. I like to teach the stuff that, I'll be honest with you, I like to teach the stuff that people don't like to teach. You know why?
Why?
Because it makes you stand out. You're like, oh, you know what? He's tackling all the stuff that nobody wants to teach. You know?
What do you like to teach?
But if I have to teach one, if I have to pick one thing, it would be like gun. I love teaching gun. Gun and rifle. I love teaching that.
I got good at that, but it's not so much that.
It's fun though.
Yeah, it is fun.
And it usually, especially if they're newer people or even intermediate people, once you start refining it and teaching the fine points, people's mind get blown because it's a gun and it's a rifle and it's it's intense. But it's fun, man. It's
I like throwing hands, man. I mean, people don't expect to see that from me sometimes, and when I can teach them how to throw hands really well and do some boxing techniques, I like doing that. That excites me when I see somebody throw a punch right. That used to throw a punch and roll the wrist or something.
Or no power.
Yeah, no power.
And then all of a sudden you start hearing the focus mitt snap.
There's nothing more fun than seeing a level 1 first person never came in, never trained, came in looking for some training. You see him throw a punch and you're just like, oh man, this is gonna be some work. And you get to work. And by the time you're done, you're like, that's my student, Abel. That's not your student. That's my student. Right there.
You see, that's the ego talking again.
That is my ego.
It's a school student. Whatever. We're all doing it.
It's my student. It is a school student because we have some great teachers here. And, here's a prime example, dude. When I was going through instructor training and I was asked, hey, who do you think would be the next recruit? Ryan. And somebody brought Ryan's name up. I was like, nope, not anybody but that guy.
By the way, Ryan knows that we love him, and we've talked about this before. Yeah. But then, you look at him now.
Oh my God! Probably our best technical instructor.
He's pretty darn legit. Yeah. I mean, and he's picky with the technique, and I love that about him. I love that he's picky.
He's very
technique.
Defined.
You need people like that on the mat. You need the grit. You need the fluidness of it, but you also need those people like Stan, like Ryan, like Alex, that just look at the finest things and just say, fix that.
Yeah.
And, you think you have it right, and you don't. You have to dial that in. We need people like that, right?
I play on a lot of people's fears. So when I get them, they're usually coming up from orange belt to green belt.
Yeah.
And when I get them, I play on their fears. And what I mean by that is when they come in, I know I'm not the most technical person, but I can make you feel like you can go through that wall over there and nobody's going to stop you because I believe in you. And by the time they're done with me, they'll learn.
I mentioned that a few podcasts back regarding how tea made you feel. That's an element of that. When you teach, people walk out a little bit taller. A little bit, their heads kind of looking up, chin up, and, walking around, strutting around.
Oh, yeah.
It's really important that we have that in the team. You build people up.
Dude, it's... when you take a class and you walk out of my class, I feel like I've done a disjustice to you and me and the whole school and my lineage and this and that and my ancestors all the way back to who knows where. If you walk out of here and as soon as you get outside, somebody mugs you and you can't defend yourself.
Ooh, yes.
That's on me, dude. And when you're green belt, you should be able to just handle yourself.
Actually, one of our instructors, this is a true story. One of our instructors had a bad dream, and they came in to the studio and told me, "Hey, Mr. Abel, had a really bad dream that one of our kids got hurt." I was like, "What do you mean, got hurt?" He's like they got hurt, they got abducted and they got hurt. And I was like, "Oh, dude, are you all right? What's up?" He's like, "I'm all right." He's like, "But in order for me to go home today and feel like I did my job, I'm putting on the suit." And totally suited up.
Really?
The marshmallow suit, and they just did drills. All that whole class, like it was all drills of just self-defense, kicking, striking hard, making sure they're landing, not just throwing something in the air. Like he wanted them to strike hard, And I talked to him after, and he's like, "Man, I exercised those demons. Like, he's like, I feel comfortable that the people that showed up today could defend themselves. He's like, I had that dream, and I couldn't get it out. And so when you get instructors that are that passionate about it, that are, you know what I mean? Like he needed to make sure that these kids, before they go home, could defend themselves or do something to better those odds. That's pretty legit. The type of team we have.
I think when a year ago or so, we were we were still being shitties Krav Maga, and we still had a team that had been kind of left behind there, and we still had learned so much from Mr. D and the school. And one of the things and with that group of guys, I don't know if he ever, and hopefully he'll watch this one day, knows how much he left a print on all of us.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because as much as we're different, there's all one similar thing right there, is we're all passionate people.
Absolutely.
And that's why we all wanted to stay together. That group right there worked so hard together, really built something, and we kind of stuck, you know what I mean? And that's what it is,
Now we're stuck, man. You're stuck.
We are stuck, man. Throw some water on us and get us unstuck. Just saying.
That's true. The passion in the team, so we all pull the same way, absolutely.
And that's where my habits come in, because I did that about a year ago, and I started doing some trainings, and I started if you go to my class, one thing that everybody can tell you, they're like, oh, I know Gary's warm-up. Same with Stan's. Stan's kind of similar. I don't know if he kind of has that same mindset, but when you warm up, it's pretty much just, it's just a routine. It's a routine. Kind of. I purposely do that. I'll start the first 5 minutes kind of light, getting you going, maybe a little chatty, doing whatever. But then you'll see me start amping it up.
Putting up the pressure.
And what that routine does is get you into a mind state. Time to train. I'm training. Here I go. Let's go. And it's something I've learned, that it's routine and habits. Good habits lead to better habits lead to great habits, and bad habits lead to worse habits lead to...
Hey, habits are habits.
Habits are habits,
Not if they're good or bad.
And so that's been my year, is trying to break habits and build habits and a lot of this. Anyways, but it kind of all full circle. That's why I had asked a lot about that.
Yeah, I mean, we all have bad habits, right? The issue is realizing that you have a bad habit. And sometimes we realize a little bit too late, but the reality is that it never really is too late to figure out that you have a bad habit, You really have to point out what that bad habit is, and then ask yourself, okay, what can I do to make this better? It doesn't matter how long you've done it for, as long as you point it out and realize that it is a bad habit.
It's a true study. It takes 90 days to make a habit and break a habit. Alcoholics Anonymous, they do the 90-day program, because it takes 90 days of something to break a habit or create a habit. Either way.
Interesting. Yeah. I think that some of the worst habits...
picking your nose in the car when you're driving?
That's probably not one of my worst ones. Probably one of my worst ones is just not eating on time. And when I don't eat on time, I usually eat junk. So like let's say that when we're here and we have time and everything's scheduled, it's good because we cook good food, like well-balanced food, a lot of veggies, just cleaner eating.
I just picked my nose right there. You didn't even see it.
Cleaner eating. But, if you're just back-to-back on a schedule and you get so busy that you forget to really take care of a really important part of your day, which is eating good food, then you're going to go to the nearest place that you could just pick something up, and that's usually a really bad deal for you and your body, you know what I mean? And that's real easy to do.
So it took me years of understanding that, and I took it for granted for many years. just before I got my first black belt, I lost 95 pounds.
Yeah, I remember that.
Lost 95 pounds. I was in I wouldn't say the best shape of my life. Probably when I was a junior in high school. I did wrestling and football. I was really active. Girls love me. Everything, whole thing. But right when I hit in my mid-30s, I was like, I need to do this again. I need to get, more active. I was always busy coaching, doing whatever. But I was like, I need to do something for myself. So, okay, I did that. Lost 95 pounds, started eating right. But that's when I could still, oh, hey, man, McDonald's looks good. I'm hungry. Go to McDonald's and still lose weight because I was younger.
Yeah.
But what changed my life is when I got my thyroid taken out. I can't do that anymore.
Yeah, you can't mess around.
I can't mess around. I could go 5 days straight of eating clean. The one day I decide not to, I'll gain 2-3 pounds like that.
Wow.
It'll just stick. My body says no, or something's going on, and it holds on.
Not to mention, the amount of money you save by not eating out, because you're eating junk, you're spending more money. It's just if you have the ability of eating good, clean food, and whether you meal prep or whether you buy your meals, it's usually cheaper if you buy it ahead of time rather than just going out and grabbing the first thing. You know what I mean?
So true story, man. So this is quarantine. I've done nothing but meal prep, and
cool.
And I've probably saved a couple grand.
Yep.
Easily, a couple grand. That's not a joke. I've spent money, but
yeah, I was talking to my wife the other day, and she's like, you know what? Since you've been cooking at the studio and all that, not eating out anymore, she's like, we're saving money, and that's good because right now every dollar counts. We're trying to keep everybody employed, and we're trying to keep the doors open here and all that stuff. So it all matters. And on top of that, we actually know what we're eating. We know that we're cooking it, where we're buying all the whatever meat, vegetables, and all that stuff. We know where we're getting it from. I'm choosing it. It's a smart way to do it. Smart way to go. It's a nice little reset from because of this pandemic. This is a positive thing that's happened.
I love movies. I'll go home tonight and I'll getting dressed for bed or getting ready. I'll put a movie on and I can watch movies in increments and come back to it and I
have to finish them.
Usually I finished them and then I go back to these movies and I
play with the background.
Yeah, man. I love movies and I love quotes from movies and I love movies. Favorite gangster movie?
Oh man, you serious?
Come on, man, gangster movies.
Casino. Casino is one of them.
Really?
Casino.
That's not even my top 5.
Wow. Godfather Part 1. Godfather Part 2 is okay. I'm not even going to talk about 3. Is there a 3? I'm going to pretend like that never happened.
3.
I'm going to pretend like that never happened. So Godfather Part 1, Part 2, Casino, Goodfellas, and those do it for me.
Really?
Yeah. Scarface is all right.
So, kind of, sort of. Casino, What? I like Casino, don't get me wrong. I'll watch. It's a Scorsese movie, so I definitely watch. But I love,
Don't come at me with this new era stuff. What are you going to say? I'm actually curious about what you're going to say.
So, Goodfellas has got to be right there.
Okay, I see.
Godfather 1 and 2 is probably 2 and 1. I love Part 2 more than 1.
Okay.
Although, my favorite scene is when Sonny is, there's a couple scenes. I'm not going to go there. Yeah. But there's a couple scenes, where he knocks on the door and says, your father's looking for you. That's a good scene. That's a funny scene. That's a good scene. Love that movie. Love that. I'm a diehard romantic guy, so Bronx Tale is one of my favorites.
Bronx Tales is cool. Listen, Bronx Tales, maybe top 5 for me. It's good. Don't get me wrong. It's just it's a little too simple for me. Not enough chess.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
I'm a romantic.
It's like a checkers.
I love that when he says, you want to know if she really loves you? If she reaches over and unlocks the door, and then she does it, and it's like, that's it right there, man.
Yeah. But that's not really gangster. You said gangster movie, man.
Scarface is definitely in the...
Scarface,
yeah, Scarface is definitely up there.
That one's a little bit more gritty, though.
Yeah. I'm a big fan. Like The Departed. I don't know if you've ever seen The Departed.
I've seen The Departed. It's okay.
It's like kind that.
Of if The Departed was a person, it'd have like a man bun and like.
Oh man, you're going there, huh? Okay.
You'd say gangster movies. I'm expecting, gangster movies. You know what I mean?
So yeah. On the Waterfront, I'm a big time old movie fan.
Could have been a contender.
Yeah, I could have been somebody. I could have been a contender.
That's actually, you know what? I can't believe I named that.
Yeah.
Thank you for naming that.
That's such a great movie.
Oh man. Then I don't even like that scene, and actually a couple other scenes from that movie. Give you a little knot in your throat.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
And then even though it's not really a gangster movie, the Jake LaMotta story by Martin Scorsese is...
Well,
I put it in the gangster genre because Scorsese did it, and it has...
Well, his job. I mean, the reason why he didn't become a contender was because he was doing all this other stuff, right?
So, yeah. Those, I don't know. Maybe... Casino. I'm not a huge fan of Casino. I haven't wanted to watch it.
Have you sat down and watched Casino?
I just watched it the other night, man. I just watched it the other night.
I can't believe it.
I love Joe Pesci. So, I've seen him in Lethal Weapon. Okay. Check this out. Okay. I've seen that movie 1,000 times. So, yeah, I'm a Joe Pesci fan, How am I funny? Ha funny? What are you saying?
He was crazy on that, man.
So gangster movies, I love gangster movies. Love gangster movies. I love like The Outsiders. I love like there's all kinds of little genre and niche movies. I'm not
gonna lie. Even if I have a busy day, or even if I had something planned, if there's if I'm going across like the TV, and there's like a gangster movie, no joke, I'll stop what I'm doing and play it for a little while.
Gabby, when I'm at home.
The Godfathers I've seen 1,000 times.
Godfathers come on, and they come every 3 months. They'll be on for Memorial Weekend.
And then they have a marathon.
I almost bet that'll be one this weekend.
They'll have a marathon of
and I will watch when she hears that the violin, she's like, "Are you watching that again? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?"
Oh, that's awesome.
And yeah, man. So gangster movies. I got other movies. We'll talk about other genres later. If you're hanging out with your boys that you grew up with, your boys, we're talking about man buns and crap right there. So, what would they say?
Are you shooting from the hip right now?
I am shooting from the hip right now.
Hold on, you gotta give me a warning because I gotta put my head.
What would they say that would get your man card revoked right now? The old Abel right now. The Merce. Is it the Merce?
Oh, like those old friends looking at me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably my wallet.
I told you. I told you. I told you it's gonna be a recurring thing. It's gonna be recurring on the show.
Probably my wallet.
I told you.
You know what? Listen. Right? All you gotta do is hit a home run. I'll give it to you.
I'm just saying.
My wallet. I know that you wanted to hear that.
Mine's been revoked 1,000 times.
Yeah?
And given back, though. I always do that. But yours is on hold, man.
Oh, wow.
Hold.
What else you got for me?
That's about it, man.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
that was easy.
Yeah. It's getting hot. That's how I know it's about that time.
It's a little warm. It is. A little warm.
When Abel starts glistening. Hey, man, do you do your eyebrows?
No, I don't do my eyebrows.
Oh, I was just wondering.
What are you talking about?
They're kind of lovely.
Oh, you're ridiculous. I was born with
you one of those guys that, like...
Nope.
Were you in a crew growing up? Like...
What is he talking about?
Come on, you know what I'm talking about.
So what's wrong with my eyebrows? I even got like a scar. What side is it? Is it this side or this side? I got hit with a bat.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, which one
I
is it?
got
This
right
side?
here. Same thing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one side. I don't remember. It's this side. Yeah, I got hit with a bat. I'll tell you that story some other time. My nose has gotten broken. I have a deviated septum.
Oh, that's another new.
It's gotten broken many times. That's why there's a video that I did, like addressing the school, and you guys were all making fun of me because the camera was so close, and you could see like my crooked Picasso nose. You know.
It's like from where my glasses sit now, if you see where the dents are, you
goes
see
like
it
that.
goes like that.
It highlights it.
It highlights right where it's been cracked.
Whatever. I love my nose, even if it's broken or has a deviated septum. I like it. Whatever.
Yeah,
I'm comfortable with myself.
You're like Lady Gaga. You like that nose.
Whatever.
Right? Star is Born, great movie.
Dude.
Have you seen that
What's
movie?
that? Yeah. What's that? What's that song?
Oh, dude, all that whole soundtrack is awesome.
Dude, I'll cry.
Shallow is really good.
What a good song.
Oh man.
Dude. If you haven't seen that, what's the
Star is Born.
Star is Born. Yeah. You guys
Bradley
gotta watch
Cooper did an awesome job in that movie. I love that movie.
You know what other
I've seen that movie at least 50 times, just so you know.
That's a good movie.
Cried a couple times.
You know what other movie's really,
kind
really
of
good?
My man card kind of almost got revoked.
Nah, it's cool. You're an emotional guy. Bradley Cooper in Silver Lining.
It's one of my favorite movies. Silver Linings Playbook.
If you haven't seen Silver Lining, do it this weekend.
Silver Linings Playbook.
Yep. Do yourself a favor.
movie.
Yep. Grab your wife, grab your loved one or whatever. Sit down and watch that.
You know, Jennifer Lawrence. I have several crushes. She's definitely one of my crushes.
But she's a great actress in that movie. Yeah.
She's.
That's a great movie, man. It's
Chris
awesome.
Tucker in that movie is phenomenal.
Yeah.
The doctor, the therapist is phenomenal in that movie.
Awesome.
Yeah, man, that movie I can watch over and over.
Yeah.
The dad is hilarious.
I've actually watched it over.
De Niro's hilarious in it.
I remember the first time I watched that, I was like all quiet, and then like Gloria looked over to look at me, like why is this guy so quiet? I usually talk during.
It's because you're a mental case,
I
just like I am.
I had like tears rolling down my.
When you're a mental case,
my lip was like quivering, and
when you're a mental case, that's usually what happens.
Because you relate.
Well, that's the same with Star is Born. It's like
I
was going through a bunch of stuff,
depression,
and all of a sudden I see that movie, and I'm like,
you're like, man, somebody out there gets it,
man, he's gonna hang himself. Oh, sorry. Yeah, if I gave it away, but
I'm gonna go ahead and edit that out.
I'm a Bradley Cooper fan, though.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he's been in some good movies.
You know what's funny? We're talking about we talk about motivation and all that. Bradley Cooper, his first audition, they told him that he wasn't good looking enough.
Really?
Yeah.
He aged well.
And he didn't get like one of these like major parts or something. And he was like heartbroken, and he was like talking about like not continuing in the business, blah blah blah. They obviously told him some other stuff that didn't settle right with him. But, thank God they didn't listen.
So, you ever get a chance to see a movie? I go deep into my movies, right? You want to see Bradley Cooper in one of his first movies. It's called Long, Hot, Wet Summer. And
I'm probably going to skip that one.
No, it's a comedy. It's a 80s comedy.
Your bad card, man. Come on.
It's an 80s comedy. But he plays this macho guy in it.
Uh-huh.
And it's almost like the old school comedies where it's like Porky's type thing.
Uh-huh.
Couple people from SNL in it.
Really?
It. Yeah. It's a movie. It's like Janine Garofalo's in it. It's like a real Paul Rudd's in it. And him and Paul Rudd go off into the cabin and then they kiss. And I was like, I don't think I could ever see Paul Rudd and him again.
What is going on? You went from gangster movies.
That just shows where my head goes.
You know what? Whatever, man. Hey, you have to mix it up.
And of course,
you literally just put your ADHD on display right now.
I did, right?
Yeah.
I know. You know, we can get my man card revoked.
It's already been.
Dude, every time it comes on, and it just came on again, I have to watch La La Land. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I haven't seen that.
I did. I never knew I love musicals.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie. I actually go watch musicals like live.
Well, I haven't done that.
They're awesome. I love them. I love musicals.
But you know what? For whatever reason, that movie
hey, listen,
captures my attention.
I went to go to the Pantages Theater and I saw Lion King as a musical. I cried through it. I'm not embarrassed to say it. I cried, man. And I started crying, man.
I don't know about that. You and lions. What's up with that, dude?
I don't know. Actually, I do know. I spent some time in Uganda, and then I spent some time in safari. I was there for like 3 months, and lions were a big part of why I was out there, and gorillas. So I went gorilla trekking, and I did some search for these
So,
rare lions that
Dude, I know it's getting close. It's probably well over our time. Yeah, it is. But are you?
We can cut it now.
Dude, you're a baller.
Oh man! All right, we're cutting. Hey guys, find me at IG at Simpleman07.
Over this. How many people get to go on freaking safari? Carry age 72.
We'll talk about that some other time. We love you guys. We miss you.